One of the things I've discussed in my past broadcast, and it's very, very, very difficult to be talking about other things when the dominant story, obviously, is what is happening, the just horrific, monumental disaster in Los Angeles. I've been glued to radio, and I've also watched on the internet, and I've watched some television, mostly radio, KNX. Poked my head around a little bit to listen to KFI, which is the other news talk station down in LA. Primarily, their news talk and news, but KNX is a lot more comprehensive. They've done an incredible job, particularly when the situation is as fluid as ever. And, with all this wind uh, situation becoming a lot more pronounced, a lot more irksome, a lot more potentially more garish, these Santa Ana winds intensifying, KNX is my wholehearted endorsement as far as listening if you are a radio person, because you're not going to get any other coverage as far as the radio is concerned. I like radio because it's immediate, it's right there, and it doesn't go away. It's got reporters everywhere, in this case, KNX. I didn't mention the fact that television, I've watched a lot of the Bay Area news coverage, and I've watched the television news coverage down in LA. And again, this is not a knock, it's just the fact. And of course, it's also an opinion. Fact based upon opinion, of course it is. But you're not going to get better coverage than what you get if you watch, and you can go and find these outlets like a KNBC, for example, just tremendous, more superior, comprehensive coverage, KTLA. These are old fashioned LA news stations. They still have LA pedigree, they still have news acumen, and they've done a far more effective, a far more concise, and quite frankly, far more entertaining, if I can use that word. I use that air quotes. They have a lot more seasoned reporters than do the Bay Area. Most of the Bay Area stations have either taken the network feed or have used their own stations down in LA to provide the news. A few stations have sent reporters. Nothing to highlight. This is not a knock on the Bay Area stations. It's not in their neck of the woods. This is in LA, obviously. LA story. It's a hellish story. It's a, by all account, I mean, this is the worst fire. We're talking now, what, 260, 280 billion with a B, $1 billion catastrophe. And it's going to get worse. And as far as the death toll, that's going to increase as soon as they're able to go around and investigate each home, which I'm sure they will do. This is an ongoing story. Obviously, it's going to take years and years and years and years of rebuilding and all that. They're already talking about the very likelihood that they're going to cancel the Oscars, which, whatever. That's a different story. But with regards to the television news cover, I didn't mention KNBC, KTLA. They do, well, they've all done good jobs. And the superior coverage is the fact that the reporters have been there a long time. That means quite a bit. It does. Whereas you look at the reporters on television news here in the Bay Area, especially, a lot of the reporters, folks, are people that you don't recognize. That's not a knock on all of them. It's just the fact that they don't know certain local areas. Somebody was telling me the other day about the fact that the reason why you're getting such good, solid, comprehensive coverage from the radio and KNX, from KNBC TV, from a KTLA is by and large, and this is a credit. I'm not kissing LA ass here. I'm stating the obvious. They know the lay of the land. They know the geography. They know people. They have sources down there. They do where and it's not just people. They know cops, they know firefighters, they have access to the politicians. There's going to be a whole bunch of extemporaneous stories like the politics of all this. We've already heard and seen the mayor. She's in sort of political turbulence with her ongoing battle with the fire chief down there. Already word has gotten out earlier in the week that the fire chief was none too happy about all the cutting, all the lack of resources that they have there down south. This mega area, 20 million people. And the fact that there were some reservoirs that were out of water. We heard that the fire people were angry, including the chief. I just mentioned that. My point in saying all this is because they know not just the geographical lay of the land, they know the cops and the politicians, they being the reporters. They've been there a long time. That has a lot to do, folks, with the fact that because they have knowledge of the various people down there, they're able to give you a more comprehensive picture of what's taking place, not just what we see on television, not just the awful, gruesome pictures, disturbing of the fires and all the embers and the houses that are all burnt pretty much, and what's taking place in Pasadena and Altadena and the Palisades, Central LA, Santa Monica. They know what's happening because they know people. And why is that important? Because that gives them a better mo to provide the story that you can't just do by walking out and sticking up a mic in front of a firefighter or just wandering around in your news car with a cameraman. I'm not putting down per se the Bay Area TV news reporters. I'm just saying, as god awful as this whole thing is down in LA, the people down there, the media is much more apt to covering this story. It's going to be ongoing because we know the next few days, probably weeks, yeah, the fires are eventually going to be out. But then you have another story within a story. There's layers of stories that are going to be happening. What's the future like? How soon are they going to be rebuilding? We're talking about a metropolitan area. I laughed. I laugh. Hear me out on this. I laugh. A couple of these reporters, I forgot the station here, they were comparing the situation in the North Bay, the Coffee Hills fire. I forgot the name of the actual fire, but they were comparing that to what's happening in LA. And look I'm not downplaying the tragedy that happened in the North Bay, Santa Rosa, and up there. The night, what was it, 2017, 2018? Obviously, Paradise was a complete tragedy. Nothing like what's happening in LA. You're talking about, again, folks, $270 billion. And that's early. It's going to get more and more. Obviously, the homes down there, by and large, in the districts are very, very well to do people, millionaires, what have you. I'm not lessening the tragedy, obviously. The property values are a lot more expensive and so forth. Pasadena, Altadena, Monrovia, Arcadia, the San Gabriel Mountains, Santa Monica hills and mountains and all that. So it's going to be a lot more. Probably going to top 100, maybe $200 billion, more than 200 billion. What am I saying? It's going to be a lot more. But you need to have information. You need to have good context. You need to talk to the mayor and figure out why such a monumentally populated area was so, and this will be told in the ensuing days and weeks and months and perhaps years, why LA was so deficient in having fire trucks and the ability to get the water and all that stuff. Well, you need people that know who the hell they're talking to and know geography, know the politicians. If I'm a resident down there, where are the politicians? Where were the mayor, this Karen Bass? And again, there'll be a time and a place for that. But in the immediate aftermath of all this, including the present tense, what's taking place, far superior coverage by the LA TV news stations, KNX, KNBC television, that's the NBC O&O in LA, KTLA. Old school, old fashioned media outlets who know what the hell they're doing. I'm not ripping per se the local media here. I'm just giving you what I say is one of the reasons why. And you would think this would not be the case. You would think that the Bay Area, the number 4 market in terms of radio, number 8 in terms of television, that we would have a lot more seasoned reporters, that we would have people who have been here a while and have stayed on and resisted having early retirement. We simply don't have it. And I don't want to get into the reality of that. That'll be another broadcast. You could draw your own conclusions. I'm just saying, as I said earlier in the week and last week, God forbid, well, God forbid that we have something like that take place here. We already had that, the Oakland Hills firestorm. We had Paradise in, Sacramento area. Of course, we had what happened in the North Bay with Santa Rosa and all those various fires. I'm talking about the immediate Bay Area, San Francisco, Oakland, San Jose, Contra Costa County, Marin, that we have something awful take place where we rely, like an earthquake, God forbid, a terrorist incident, something major, something catastrophic. Now, thank God, the loss of life, yes, it's bad. They're all bad. But, how can I put this? God forbid a terrorist attack or an earthquake, something completely, or fire. Seems like we've been there, done that kind of a thing in that area. But my overall point, folks, is this. The way our media, and I'm talking about radio, I'm talking about television. Can you believe this? We have KCBS, one radio station, one, which is disgusting in and of itself. And that would be even if KCBS was a decent radio station. It is not. I'm not trying to be funny here, but they're gross, even if they were one. That's what we have now. We have no, and don't tell me about KQED. They're not equipped to handle what would be happening. God forbid, again, we have something monumental disaster like an earthquake, like a terrorist incident where there were thousands of people killed, or a fire conflagration where you have to have information, where the public relies upon it. We would rely upon it. That's one of the reasons why they have a license. They're there to inform us, not just to entertain us, but to inform us. And quite frankly, they don't have the people. They don't have the manpower. They don't have qualified people. They don't. There's a few good people, but not a lot. The inferior ones outnumber the people that are adequate at best, you know. And I hope to God in my lifetime, your lifetime, we don't have anything like this, because we are going to be in sad shape if we have to rely upon information and all the things that we would have to know, we would have to suffice to get the information that is going to be out there that we need to know in a chaotic atmosphere. We don't have that. Look at our media. We're not going to have power. Then we're going to have to rely upon radio, television, news will be inadequate at best. The internet, we won't have power. Good luck on that end. So we're going to then have to rely on the old standby, old fashioned terrestrial radio, like a KCBS, your transistor radio. Go out and get one. But information will be vital, and we are badly, badly prepared. TV, radio, but especially TV too. They have it way, way, way over us. That's not an opinion, that's fact. If you think otherwise, I'll be interested to hear the debate. I'll be interested to hear your reasons as to why you think we are equipped to have these so-called professional media people provide us the information that we sure as hell are going to have. And quite frankly, we do not have. They are not equipped to cover anything near what is happening or what has transpired and what would likely transpire if, God forbid, again, we have something like what they're suffering down in Southern California. Hey, I'm Rich Liebernman. If you like my site, if you like my opinions or disagree, or you want whatever, you want to interact, you want to send me feedback, good, bad, indifferent, what have you, please email me, rich.lieberman@gmail.com. Phone me, a text, 415-999-4454, 415-999-4454. You can always text general feedback, good, bad, what have you. If you agree, disagree, great. Please also subscribe to my site here on YouTube. I'm going to give you may not agree, I'm going to give you the real deal. Not going to give you the bull. I'm going to give you the real deal. A lot of information that they, quite frankly, don't want you to know because they think very positive of themselves. Okay. Even when they're not so positive in any event. Oh, yeah. Please, if you can make a donation, my advertisers are you guys, good or bad. Please help support this site. Thanks a lot. We'll see you soon.